We would like to welcome each of you here tonight. We have a few special guests. Let me introduce those. We have two of our county commissioners here. We have up here to my right is Mr. Jeff Branch, and we have in the back corner here Mr. Mike LaBrose, and also our county manager Stan Kaiser. We appreciate y'all being here. Appreciate all you do for Caldwell County. We hope that you had a great Thanksgiving, had plenty to eat, and shared it with family and friends. And just keep in mind that we have 23 more shopping days until Christmas. So that is going to be upon us very, very quickly here. And we would like to ask that you stay through, at least through the honors and recognitions. Tonight we're going to be honoring a number of students, some teachers, and a very special honor to one of our principals. So we'd like for you to at least stay for that portion of our program. And we may not have another opportunity, but Merry Christmas to everybody as well, and Happy New Year. We're going to begin with our agenda now, and we are certainly pleased to have with us the Honorable Robert M. Brady, Chief District Court Judge of the 25th Judicial District of North Carolina. If he would come forward, he's going to administer the oath to those recently elected to the Board of Education. If those that were just recently elected come down to the front here, please.
Dr. Stone and members of the board, before we begin, I would like to take the opportunity to thank you for affording me the chance to swear in this board and over the last several years and administer the oath of office. It's been a real privilege and pleasure for me, as it will be again this evening. Since I will be retiring December the 31st, I'm assuming this will be the last time I'll be afforded this opportunity. So I thank you again for and welcome me here all these many times to swear in the Board of Education. So thank you so much for that. Now, if each of you will get where you can place your left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand, and to the best that you can without straining your neck, face me. And if you'll repeat after me, please. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States. So help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and the Constitution and laws of the state of North Carolina, and that I will faithfully discharge my duties as a member of the Caldwell County Board of Education to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations. Dr. Stone, I've already signed all of the documents, so it's for you. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Judge Brady. We appreciate your being here, and congratulations to those elected. And welcome back to the board, Teresa. We appreciate what you can bring to our board. Next on the agenda is the invocation for the board. I'm going to call on fellow board member Mr. Dwayne Knight for that.
All right, let us pray. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for your blessings, for the successful outcome of the school events, and for all your staff members, both teaching and support members. We ask you bless them abundantly, and as you continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength, be with us in our deliberations, and help us to be wise in decisions we make for the good of all who have placed trust in our confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, and grant us humility to always seek your will in all that we say and do. We pray in your holy name. Amen.
Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, tonight being led by Happy Valley students Lauren Greer, second grade student, daughter of Reggie and Tony Greer, and also Carly Blevins, second grade student and daughter of Aaron and Nikki Blevins. So if everyone will please stand. Our flag's over here.
Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Lauren and Carly, for being here with us tonight. Next item on the agenda is the organization of the board. I'm going to turn that over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. By board policy, on the first Monday of an even number year in December, we reorganize the board, which is basically the election of the chair and the vice chair. The process has been used for years. I will pass out a blank index card to each of you. You will write down the name for the chair that you would like to be chairman. You will sign it, and then those will be passed back to me, and I will announce the votes. This is the same process we'll use for the vice chair. So you'll write the name and then sign it at the bottom. Those will be collected and placed into the minutes. Hang on to them and I'll collect them after. Is everyone done? All right. We'll start on my right. Joe, board chairman.
Darrell Pennell.
Ms. Coffey.
Darrell Pennell.
Darrell Pennell.
Darrell.
Darrell Pennell.
Darrell Pennell. Darrell Pennell.
Darrell Pennell.
If you don't mind passing those forward. Congratulations, Mr. Pennell. This is a 2-year term as chairman. We will follow the same process for vice chair. I'll pass you each an index card. If you will write the name of your candidate or your selection for vice chair, and if you'll sign it at the bottom. Okay, at this point, hang on to it. At this point, we'll start on my left. Dwayne?
Dwayne Knight.
Teresa?
Tim Hawkins. Dwayne Knight.
Dwayne Knight.
Tim Hawkins.
Dwayne Knight.
Dwayne Knight.
Okay, if you'll pass those forward. Congratulations, Mr. Knight, on selection for the vice chair. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Stone. And certainly, Mr. Knight, would you choose to have any comments at this point?
Thank you for putting your trust in me. I've got time. I'm retired, and I'll do my best to serve as vice chair.
And I appreciate the opportunity as well. I certainly have the time to put into it, and I work hard at it, and I think you can hold me to that. I'll continue to work hard at it as well. We'll move on with the agenda, and that is the approval of the agenda, which the board has had an opportunity to review. over the last number of days. Do I hear a motion that we approve the agenda as has been presented to you?
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the agenda as presented.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions, comments, additions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next is the approval of the minutes. As you see, we have two meetings on November the 10th, 2014. That was our regular scheduled board meeting here in the boardroom, and then we had a closed session. The board has had an opportunity to look at those minutes. Do I hear a motion that we approve both sets of minutes for November the 10th?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the minutes for the regular board meeting and closed session on November 10th.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion passes. Next, I'm sure most of you have probably come for the honors and recognitions, and we are thrilled that you are here, and we are always thrilled to recognize those students, teachers, and administrators in our county that do such an outstanding job every day. So we're going to move down to the front so we can welcome these people, and I'm going to call on Libby Brown to come and call the names of those being recognized. So if the board will move down to the front here.
And we also, while we're doing that, we'll remind folks that we have plenty of picture-taking opportunities. So when your child is presented up front, just come to the middle, take some pictures, and we'll be there smiling until all cameras are done.
Good evening, Chairman Pennell, board members, and Dr. Stone. It is an honor and privilege tonight to recognize extraordinary talent exhibited in the Education Center Art Gallery. We would like to recognize the excellent drawings and paintings that have been selected at the school level and are now on display at the Education Center during the month of December. So I saw families already enjoying those beautiful pieces of artwork, and they will be on display for the rest of the month, so please come back. Students, as I call your name, please come forward and receive a certificate of recognition from the Board of Education. Okay? And a ribbon, yes, and a medallion. Okay, we're going to start with Baton Elementary. Jason Teef Taylor is the principal, and the art teacher is Jenny Green. And you'll see on the displays here, if we can get this one up too in just a minute.
Can you turn the lights a little bit?
Jesslyn Crow, 5th grade. So this is her piece right here.
And David, when we start taking pictures.
And we have a second student from Baton, James Ogren, and James is in the 2nd grade, and James is behind me. James, you want to come up? Okay. We're going to do one more elementary school. Davenport A+, Julia Knight is the principal, and the art teacher is Dabney Smith. Talacia Berry, 3rd grade. Is Talacia here tonight? Okay. Johan Drost, 2nd grade. And Daniela Martinez, 5th grade. I didn't see them earlier when we were having our reception, so we may go to another elementary school. Let's do.
So these guys want to stand here by themselves?
No. You get all the attention. Gamewell Elementary School, Charmin Frizzell is the principal, and she's here with us this evening. And the art teacher is Susan Sharp. So we're going to start here. And this, I don't think, is Kaylee, is it? Is Kaylee here? That isn't Kaylee. I think that's Cherish. Is that Cherish? Yes, that's Cherish. I'm glad they're self-portraits. That's Cherish Sanders, and she's in the 5th grade. So we'll get to Kaylee. Yes. And then we have, that's Kaylee. Kaylee Escobar. Kaylee is in the 5th grade. And we have Brennan Wiley, and Brennan is also a 5th grader at Gamewell Elementary School. I'm not sure. Brennan is here this evening. So do you want to pause here? Let's have a Kodak moment. Parents?
All four can come on here in the middle. If anybody wants to take a picture, just come here in the center. We'll smile. All right. All right. Gotta keep smiling until all the cameras are done.
Okay, for Horizons Elementary, we have Amare Covington, 3rd grader. And, good. Beautiful piece. Then we move to Sawmills Elementary School, and Teresa Hartley, by the way, is the principal at Horizons. So we always like to acknowledge the principals as well. Sawmills Elementary School, Lowell Rogers is the principal. The art teacher is Brad Wright. So we're going to start with Haley Hartley, 4th grader at Sawmills Elementary. Very good job. Indigo Hawkins, kindergarten student. Lane Rice, kindergarten student. And Cooper Wilson, 3rd grader at Sawmills Elementary. Next we have high school students. So let's do our elementary.
All right. You all will move. Come on down here. Come on down here. And y'all come on down. All right. Hold the certificate out front. And you have to keep smiling. All right. Keep smiling. Show the camera. Don't put it in front of your face.
Run away.
One more.
You're so adorable. And then we will conclude our Education Center Art Gallery with high school students from High Brighton High School. Anna Haas, 11th grade. Beautiful piece. I know David Caldwell is here, principal from High Brighton High School, and Jenna Bailey is the art teacher. I don't see Anna. What about Sky Rothwell? Beautiful pieces. Is Sky here?
David, you have to come get the certificates. Mr. Caldwell, excuse me.
Yes. Mr. Caldwell is here.
Oh, you got more coming? Okay. He's gonna get some stuff.
Okay. We're going to turn our attention to music, okay? Another art form. The North Carolina Elementary Honors Chorus is a group of approximately 150 students who are chosen from across North Carolina to perform at the North Carolina Music Education Association Conference each year. The purpose of this honors course is to provide students with the opportunity to develop their musical abilities and to be involved in this statewide showcase of talent. Congratulations to the following elementary students who auditioned and who were selected in the North Carolina Elementary Honors Chorus. We're going to start with Granite Falls Elementary School, and actually they were the only elementary school in the county that had students participate in the statewide chorus. Andrea C. Evans is the chorus director, and Chris Green is principal, so they're both here this evening. And we're going to start with Karma Clark. Karma is a fourth grader. Sarah Arnold, fifth grade. Heather Deal, fifth grade. And Adam Story, and this is his second year participating. He is also a fifth grader. So congratulations to these Granite Falls Elementary students. Next is middle school.
All right, guys, if you all will move here in the center, you want to take a picture, and you got to put your certificate down like you're here, holding it, and smile. All right.
Okay, now we're going to middle school. The North Carolina Middle School Honors Course is held in November as well. This course provides an opportunity for the very best singers from across the state in grades 6, 7, 8, and 9 to join together and work with a nationally acclaimed choral conductor. Over 1,000 students generally audition for approximately 160 positions. Congratulations to the following students who were selected to perform in this prestigious North Carolina Middle School Honors Course. So we're going to start with Granite Falls Middle School, and Shay Starnes is the director. The principal is Bill Schreiber. Carly Gregg, and Carly is in the 7th grade. Zoe Shaw, and Zoe is an 8th grader. We had one choral student from Hudson Middle School. Sherry January is the director, and Bill Griffin is the principal. Mason Herman, and Mason is an 8th grader. We had several students from William Lenora Middle School. Carla Reed is the director and Lisa Vaughn is principal. Rhiannon Green, 7th grade. Hannah Hodge, 8th grade. Hannah here? Mia Ricks. Mia is also 7th grade, like Rhiannon. Okay, we're gonna go to Carla. Jaden Riddle. Kirsten Walser. Kirsten's here. Yes, 8th grade. Destiny Wilson. And Brooke Worthington. Brooke is also an 8th grader. And this is Brooke's 2nd year of participating in the North Carolina Middle School Honors Chorus. So these are our middle school students who were selected to participate in the North Carolina Middle School Chorus. Parents, if you'd like to take pictures, let's give them all a round of applause. Yes, congratulations. Okay. Congratulations to Carla Reed, Chorus Director at William Lenore Middle School, who has been awarded the Richard Kiesler Middle School Chorus Teacher of the Year Award, presented by the North Carolina Music Educators Association. Mrs. Reed was selected for this statewide honor based on her effective teaching and outstanding leadership. In her 15 years of teaching, now this is pretty astounding, Carla Reed has led the William Lenore Middle School Chorus to distinction with a total of 38 superior performances at the North Carolina Music Educators Association Music Performance Adjudication. No wonder she is the North Carolina Teacher of the Year in Music. This is an outstanding accomplishment, and Carla, you are most deserving of this recognition. We are proud of you, as is your principal, Lisa Vaughn, the faculty, staff, and all the students, whether they're in chorus or not, at William Lenore Middle School.
I'm not going to give a speech.
I'm going to turn it over to you.
You gave an excellent speech at the conference, though. That had to be kind of daunting in front of all those folks. You really did.
Congratulations to Candace Hageman, principal at Caldwell Early College High School and recipient of the Terrell H. Bell Award. 8 principals in the nation were recently selected among the 340 National Blue Ribbon schools. Mrs. Hageman was recognized with the Terrell H. Bell for her outstanding work and the vital role she plays in guiding students in the Caldwell Early College High School to excellence, frequently under challenging circumstances. Named for the second Secretary of Education, the award honors school leaders who are committed to fostering successful teaching and learning at their schools, and who are committed to education as a powerful and liberating force in people's lives. They are principals who do whatever it takes to help their students meet high standards. Caldwell Early College High School was one of 48 National Blue Ribbon schools in the nation, and the one of 48 of 340 in the nation to be recognized for their levels of achievement, and especially they were recognized for closing the achievement gap. Congratulations to Candace Hageman, principal of Caldwell Early College High School, one of the elite 8 in the nation to receive the prestigious Terrell H. Bell Award.
Candace in the middle, did you want to speak?
She has to sit.
Congratulations, Mrs. Hageman. And to my knowledge, I think that's the first Terrell H. Bell Award in Caldwell County. It's a very, very momentous occasion. Lynette Shelby. Is Lynette here this evening? Yay. Okay, Lynette, if you want to come forward. Lynette Shelby is an English as a second language teacher at Davenport A+ School, and she has earned her National Board Certification in English as a New Language, Early and Middle Childhood, awarded by the National Board of Professional Teaching Standards. Ms. Shelby joins an esteemed group of National Board Certified teachers, now totaling 265 in the district, who have completed National Board Certification while teaching in the Caldwell County schools, or nearly 30% of the teaching cadre. Julia Knight is her principal, and Jamie Engel is here this evening, and she is the English as a second language coordinator. So we're all very proud of you for undergoing this strenuous but rewarding certification process.
Did you want to say anything?
Thank you.
Now would be an opportune time if you choose to leave. You're invited to stay for the rest of the meeting, but now would be a good time if you want to go for dinner. Merry Christmas again. Happy New Year.
Y'all don't want to stay? Candace, I want to get at some point from you, what are those challenging conditions you've had? She said,
Wasn't being board member, was it?
I asked her if she wanted to get a camera behind.
oh, yeah, Liz? Okay.
Okay.
I said, you want to get a camera?
Yours is the naughty list. Hers is the nice list. I know your list. Joe, do you want to take a picture with your family while we're recessing?
I don't have camera.
Your wife was here.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is yours still-
Glennie and Molly's We're here.
Teresa, is he still here? We can take a picture. Want to take a picture of you and your family?
That's all right. Brittany's leaving. Jeff's gone. It's good. I'm okay. I'm really okay.
Dottie?
We can our picture together. Right. We do something like that. Yeah. Jeff's down helping put the Christmas tree up at the church tonight. So I was down most of the day helping out. So
Picture, maybe get a picture of me.
yes. Hey, sweetie, you need to turn around. We'll have to quit talking to you.
What?
We're gonna get her amazing.
Now you remember Karen? No public comment.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is public comment. And as of 4:30 this afternoon, we had received no public comment, so we'll move on with the agenda. This time, I'd like to turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Steve Stone.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I have several action items for the board tonight. The first is the naming of the High Brighton High School softball field. And I would like, we had a public hearing last month. We've received several comments from the public. We've not had any since then. The administration would like to recommend the naming of the Pope Field at High Brighton High School Softball Stadium Complex. We'd like to call that the Pope Field at High Brighton Softball Complex.
Do I hear a motion that we name the field at High Brighton, the Pope Field at High Brighton Softball Stadium?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we name the softball field at High Brighton High School the Pope Field at High Brighton Softball Stadium Complex.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
And we also want to recognize some of the family here. We thank you very much for your patience with the process, but we're delighted. David, you can move forward with the naming. We can move forward with whatever the signage or whatever needs to be put there. So thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you all for being here.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'd like for consideration, several months ago, we approved the administrative contracts for Dr. Jeff Church, Dr. Carol Burns, and Dr. Trish Johnson by adding 2 years. And we also, which would extend their contract to June the 30th of 2018. We also moved Dr. Church from assistant superintendent to associate superintendent. We have completed those contracts. Ed has reviewed them. So tonight we'd like for you to approve, and that's basically what we've done, is extended 2 years, changed Jeff's classification. So we'd like for your approval of the administrative contracts for those 3 individuals.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the administrative contracts as they've been presented to us.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you. We have 2 resolutions tonight we'd like for the board to consider passing. The first is a resolution which will be sent to the North Carolina General Assembly, which is regarding, yes, I'm going to do them separately, which is regarding the state's proposal to assign letter grades to public schools. The resolution, I won't read it to you in general, but what it does say is that we would like for the General Assembly to put the current plan on hold, which is to designate an A through F grade for each school. It's heavy on the performance grades, the performance composite, very light on the growth component. So we would like to work to get the General Assembly to perhaps modify that and not release these grades until we've had a little bit more time to have some voice with the General Assembly. The resolution has been adopted by other boards across the state, so we're recommending approval of the resolution regarding the state's proposal to assign letter grades to each public school to forward on to our General Assembly members.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the resolution as outlined by Dr. Stone regarding the proposal to assign letter grades to each public school. Is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the resolution as presented regarding the state's proposal to assign letter grades to our public schools.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members. The second resolution is a resolution in support of local control of the school calendars. You know, we'd like to send this to our legislative delegation. You'll see within the resolution, there are several reasons why we believe that the local school boards can best determine the calendars. Again, this is a resolution that's making its way from other local school boards across the state, and basically will be sent to our legislative delegation requesting that the General Assembly give us the authority, or you, the authority to set the calendars. We recommend approval of the resolution.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the resolution supporting local control of school calendars?
I make a motion that we approve the resolution supporting local control of school calendars.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Is there, and a second. Any comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes.
And I just want to say too that it really would be nice, but I'm not exactly sure how far the resolutions are going to go, but it would be nice if we could do that. I know the community college and the university systems would certainly appreciate us having a similar calendar. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I have one policy for adoption tonight, and that is for the board policy 5024/6127/7266. It's all over the place, and it's the emergency EpiPens, EAI devices. It has been out for 1 month comment period. We have only made some minor changes to language that the nurses recommended. So we'd like to recommend approval of 5024/6127/7266. And again, noting that this is only for emergency cases of use of the EpiPen. Kids who already we know about would not fall under this policy.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we adopt the triple board policy relating to emergency epinephrine auto-injecting devices.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion passes. Anything else, Dr. Stone?
I just want to remind folks that as of November 1, we do have these emergency EpiPens, 2 in each school. Our school nurses are going through training about 5 individuals from each school. Hopefully we won't have to use them, but if we do, we have them in place. This is, by the way, required by general statute from the General Assembly, so glad the nurses, and I want to commend the nurses for pulling it all together and making it happen. They actually were able to get the EpiPens free this year, so that's a good thing too. So I don't know about next year, we'll have to include it in the budget, but this year it was free.
Right, and they do, you may or may not know, they do have about a 1-year expiration date. So if we don't, we hope we don't have to use them, but if they sit on the shelf for a year or so, they're probably going to have to be replaced just because they have an expiration date.
I'm very familiar with EpiPen.
So,
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Stone. Next, we have our Associate Superintendent for Human Resource Services, Dr. Trish Johnson.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, and Dr. Stone, I have several items for your attention this evening, starting with Exhibit 4. Exhibit 4 includes usual and customary personnel items for information only, requiring no action. Exhibit 5 includes usual and customary personnel items that require your action. So I respectfully recommend approval of the items in Exhibit 5 as they have been presented to you.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the usual and customary personnel matters as presented?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion we approve the usual and customary personnel matters as presented.
Is there a second?
Second the motion.
All right, any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Moving to Exhibit 6, that includes student transfer request. Since your last board meeting, we've had 14 requests for student transfers, and all 14 of the requests meet established board criteria. I respectfully recommend approval of the transfer request as presented. If approved this evening, that would bring the total 2014-15 school year transfer request approval to 541. I respectfully recommend approval of the transfer request.
Do I hear a motion that we approve the 2014-2015 student transfer request as they have been presented in your agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion to approve the 2014-15 student transfers as Dr. Johnson presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And finally, Exhibit 7 includes the differentiated pay plan recommended for a 30-day comment period. As you are aware, as we stated before, the State of North Carolina General Assembly in the Senate Bill 744 Appropriations Act of 2014 encourages local boards of education to establish differentiated pay plans as it reflects for teacher performance. So that's the only guidelines that we had, was to establish. We presented to you last month a skeleton of some things that could be included. We'd like to present a recommended plan for you this board meeting this month that has some specific criteria, and it's established, as you will see, that's been presented to you earlier, in a 3-tier process, meaning that the main thing that we wanted to make sure happened with this plan, and it was done pretty quickly, was to make sure that it's transparent, to make sure that it's equitable and fair to all teachers. The plan must include differentiation for teacher performance, based on teacher performance. So the best way to gauge and measure that is through EVOS data, or data that's already established by the state. So what we're doing is putting together a plan that has 3 tiers. The first tier includes school-wide performance differentiated pay. And all certified staff will receive a designated amount of differentiated pay, and we don't know what that is because we don't know what our portion would be, if overall school effectiveness is rated at exceeds expected growth. So all teachers, all certified teachers in a school that is designated as exceeding expected growth would be eligible for an equal amount of pay, whatever that may be. The rationale for the Tier 1 is that school-wide performance differentiated pay supports the basic belief that schools improve when the entire staff works towards common goals and all staff members are part of the success of the students. Moving to Tier 2, Tier 2 gives individual teacher effectiveness differentiated pay, and that's giving teachers an opportunity, even though their school may not have met expected growth, exceeds expected growth, but individual teachers who exceed expected growth based on EVOS data would be eligible for differentiated pay. Also, teachers who are assigned to hard-to-staff schools, such as alternative school setting, which we already have somewhat in place now, a differentiation for the teachers. It's a very minimal amount, but teachers working on alternative schools receive some differentiated pay right now. Any teacher requesting reassignment to an alternative school or a classroom, because even in our schools we have individual classrooms that have difficult-to-staff positions, some of them being in the exceptional children's arena, that these teachers would be eligible to receive differentiated pay for being in difficult-to-staff. And that would have to be identified as to what those classrooms would be. And then Part C of the individual teacher includes an attendance incentive, and our school administrators were pretty supportive of wanting to see this in a plan. We had somewhat in our 25% plan, but they wanted to see it still in a plan that designates recognizing teachers who are in attendance, and it looks at a teacher who at least meets expected growth being eligible for added incentive each semester, and it's minimal. It's $100 per semester if they have 3 or fewer absences within. And that's just recognizing that attendance, because we encourage our students to be in attendance, and also recognizing the attendance of our teachers. Tier 2, the rationale for Tier 2 is that extra pay for individual teacher effectiveness allows teachers an opportunity to earn additional performance pay based on their individual effectiveness and not just on the school's overall rating. And then finally, Tier 3 would be for recruitment of teachers to difficult to staff positions. And that's to, as we stated earlier, to designate a certain amount of the funds to be set aside for signing bonuses for those positions that we have identified as difficult to staff. For example, in some places, special education, middle school math, and secondary math, as well as middle school and secondary science positions are becoming more increasingly difficult to staff. So signing bonuses would be paid to teachers in 2 increments. Half of the bonus for the first semester and half of the bonus after finishing, the other half after finishing the school year. And the rationale is that external competitive differentiated pay will assist Caldwell County Schools in recruiting high teachers and retaining highly effective teachers while lowering our teacher turnover rate within the school district. And we're very proud to say that our teacher turnover rate within the state was 7 out of 10. Top 10, so we were number 7. So we already have a low teacher turnover rate, and anything that we can do to add to our teachers maintaining or staying with the district would certainly be welcomed. I present this plan to you for consideration for a 30-day comment period.
Okay, do I hear a motion that we approve the differentiated pay plan as presented by Dr. Johnson for a 30-day comment period?
I move that we approve the plan that's presented for the differentiated pay.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any questions? Obviously not an easy job to come up with.
And let me say, now that it's out there for 30 days, we will be calling groups together to have dialogue so that they can help us to put some smooth edges in the event you decide at your January meeting to send it forward.
Okay.
And just for note, we have to present to the North Carolina General Assembly by January the 15th, so we're well within that time frame. Not the State Board of Education, but the General Assembly. So. And we have no idea how much money may flow, if any. So we may be fighting over $1.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And motion passes. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Appreciate it. Next, we have our Associate Superintendent for Auxiliary Services, Dr. Jeff Church.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Stone. You have before you Exhibit 8, which is a Synovia Solution lease agreement for GPS tracker units on our school buses. As you remember, that was presented to you at the board retreat. Kevin Britton's here with our transportation department, and we are looking to move forward with that for a 5-year lease agreement. I respectfully request that you approve the lease as presented, and it has been reviewed by Ed. And it looks good.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Synovia Solutions lease for the GPS pilot program as it has been presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions, comments?
We get 6 months free, right?
We do. Yes, sir, we
So
do.
the contract starts January 1st.
Okay.
Okay. And obviously, you've mentioned to us many advantages. And would you mind going over a couple for the benefit of those here?
It will really benefit our students with school safety. We, at any point, at any given time during the route, from the time the bus cranks until the time the bus cuts off at the end of the route, if you ride bus 135, if you call in for your child, say, was my child picked up, or where is the bus? Kevin can say, bus 135 is here at this point in time. So it's already, we've been doing pilot program, and it's already been useful just in school safety, a lot in school safety. So it's going to be a good product.
I think you also mentioned that it was some cost savings involved for the buses, the timing and different things. So even though we're spending money, we're actually going to be able to save.
To save in order, it should pay for itself. Yes, sir.
Very good. Any other questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Exhibit 9 is a contract with Western Piedmont Council of Governments. It's for our COG report. It's our growth estimation report. This report, I'm bringing it to you now to sort of get on their queue. The report they'll start the study in July 1, and then they'll report December of next year, 2015. And it was 4 years ago when we did the last one. The last report was December 2011. So I respectfully request that you approve this contract as presented.
All right. Do I hear a motion that we approve the Western Piedmont Council of Governments contract?
Make a motion that we approve the Western Piedmont Council of Government contract.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you,
Thank
Dr. Church. You want to give us any kind of update on the school? I guess things are still moving along and on schedule.
Still moving right along. Yes, we are looking at substantial completion around August the 4th right now. We're waiting, blocks going up. We're waiting for brick to go right on top of it. Partial roofing is on part of the building, and so we're moving right along, trying to get it done before cold weather.
That's an interesting note, on time and on budget.
On budget, yes, sir.
Wow.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is the State School Boards Association meeting was in Greensboro just a couple weeks ago, and several members of the board had an opportunity to go down there. It's always a great event. So I'm going to ask each of these members to tell a few things about what they gathered from the meeting. So we'll start with Mrs. Darcy.
Okay, this is always a very valuable meeting for us with some real interesting speakers. One of the ones that I found quite intriguing was a gentleman named Dr. Yong Zhao, who's Chinese but is actually a professor at the University of Oregon, but nationally known for his work on curriculum, and he looks very carefully at the issues of globalization and educational creativity and competitiveness and how different countries stack up, so to speak. I thought one of the most interesting analogies that he used, he said, the Chinese are very good at making sausage. They want everything to come out exactly the same. And he said, if you look at patents and creative ideas in business, industry, technology, and so forth, he said, those are not coming out of China. They're coming out of the United States. And he put a very strong emphasis on the fact that we need to give our students opportunities to show their creativity in the learning environment, because if we try to make everything and everybody exactly the same, we will stifle that. And he felt that that would really have a negative effect on education. So I thought that was a very interesting analogy. All of us had the opportunity to attend one of the sessions that was done by Amy Bradley and Aaron Smith, who were the instructors out at the Patterson Science Center. And we are always so proud when we have people present at these meetings, and they just did a fantastic job. And I think at the session you went to, the president of the National School Board Association was at that session. So a number of people heard this and were...
She made comment in public in her speech.
Right, in her speech at lunch that day. She was so impressed with what she saw that she referred to it during her speech at lunch that day. So we were very proud, needless to say. A couple of the other sessions I attended, one was on the virtual public high school, And now there are about 52,000 kids in North Carolina taking one class or another through the virtual public high school, and it's middle and high school students. It was very interesting to me that one of the larger segments of students were taking occupational course of study, which was not what I would have guessed. I would have guessed it would have been more foreign language and AP and some of the classes that students can't get in smaller high schools and things like that. But they have a substantial amount of credit recovery, but do have a fair number of students who do take AP and honors courses. We do have some teachers in our school system who on the side teach some courses for the North Carolina Virtual Public High School, and they have a very strict standard of teacher-student communication. It's not one of these things where the teacher pushes a button that says good job and that's it. They're expected to have meaningful communication with the students about what they're doing, and they feel like it's been very successful and it continues to grow every year. Another session that I attended, and I'm glad both Kevin and Jeff are here, it was on the McKinney-Vento Homeless Act. And one of the things that is a challenge for school systems is if we have a child who becomes homeless and ends up who knows where, it can even be in another county, by federal law, we are required to transport that student to his home school. And the folks in the transportation department in Cabarrus County did this presentation, and something that they have begun doing that we may want to look at if it seems appropriate. They figure their cost of running a regular school bus with a driver is about $3 a mile, give or take a few cents, depending on what fuel's doing this week. What they did was they bought some minivans. They put cameras in them. And the thing is, with a minivan, you don't have to have a CDL to drive it. So that expands the number of people. So if you have to transport a student over a fairly significant difference, they found that it was costing about $1.50 a mile to do that. And so, of course, Cabarrus County has a larger student population, and they're closer to Charlotte, so they had kids they were transporting to South Charlotte and things like that. And, you know, an hour and a half ride on a school bus morning and evening, which is hard on the kids and hard on everybody. But I did think that that was a good idea and something that we may want to put in the back of our minds. And if it appears that we are having significant transportation costs, you know, based on fulfilling the requirements of McKinney-Vento, it may be something at some time we may want to look at. So I'm glad you were here so I could tell you.
Thank you, Mrs. Darcy. Mr. Knight?
Okay. On Tuesday, November 18th, I attended the first breakout session for Amy Bradley and Aaron Smith's called Cross-Cutting the Achievement Gap, STEAM in Everyday Education. They told about the vision we had, the superintendent. It was told about grant funded. We've heard all this, we're all proud of it, but they did an excellent job. Matter of fact, afterwards, I ran in the hall and I ran into Scott Bowman, who's a board member in Alexander County, and he said he saw the meeting and he talked to his superintendent, Dr. Jennifer Hefner. Well, Jennifer stopped me later on and said, "What's Amy's name? What's her last name?" And she said that Amy has called me several times, but this time so she got all excited about bringing her kids over here from Alexander County. Afterwards, I stepped across the hall and the sign said, "Consequences of Budget Cuts." I thought, that's where I need to be. I need to find out about that. Well, it didn't take me long. I was in there and found out it was a 1-hour commercial for a profit company. So I listened to what they had to say, and then I stepped back across the street and caught the last 15 minutes of Amy's presentation. In attendance also at that meeting, besides the National School Board President Ann Byrne, was Caldwell County's own 1984 Raleigh Dingman Award winner, Miss Janet Wilson was in attendance that day. They mentioned what Miss Byrne said in her general session. She said she liked the word STEAM instead of STEM, and the A stood for agriculture, because we talked about all the things we could do at Patterson Science Center. Later on, Miss Byrne spoke, and she said she was the daughter of an immigrant, but their parents put a priority on education. And a couple of her quotes, I quote her, it says, "Public schools are the cornerstone of American democracy." Also, she said we need to promote our success in public education, and a board member should be accountable and engage in our community. The last session I attended that day was School Crisis Response and Evaluation and Reunification Process, brought to us by Nash Rocky Mountain Schools. It says you need to have a plan in case of a crisis. You need to involve a committee which involves school officials, EMS, fire, 911, police, etc., and then identify the roles of each of these people. You need an assembly area for students, separate from parents, a request area, and then a point of release. And after the presentation, a gentleman stood up and he said he was a school board member, but he is also working for Homeland Security. And he said their plan was right on. So later on that day, I ran into Libby. I said, "Libby, here's the plans. Here's what we gotta have." Libby said, "I got that." I said, "Well, how about this?" Got that. So everything I mentioned that Nash County had, that the Homeland Security bragged on, we have in place right now. So thank you, Caldwell County Schools. That's about it.
Okay.
That was my day.
Mr. Sims, you got any comments to add?
I do. It was the first meeting that I've got to attend for the North Carolina School Board, and it was awesome. I didn't really know what to expect whenever I went down there. All the sessions were good that I got to attend, and we sort of went to different ones, so we would pick up different information about those. All the keynote speakers, I really enjoyed all those. I'm just going to talk about one of the breakout sessions I went to, and the name of it was the new leaders on the block: why teacher leadership and shared vision are vital to North Carolina schools. And the presenter was Mary Hemphill, or Dr. Mary Hemphill. She's actually a graduate of Hickory High School. I got in a little bit early and started talking to her, and her assistant principal was a guy I played college ball with, so we talked for a while. But she is very young, but she is dynamic. She started talking about, the landscape of the public education, talking about how it evolves. But she talked more about the leadership and the vision required to meet the needs of the changes. And, as we try to do that, but the way she approached it was she did studies, and she come to realize that there was very little studies done on the leadership within schools and what they do, that she could find the data for. So basically what she was saying is, that there needs to be a better way of preparing the leaders, which I know we've got a program here in the county that, that we do that. So I think we're sort of a step in the right direction or on that track. But it was really interesting to hear her talk, because, you could not pay attention to her, because she was just all over the room talking and keeping you involved in it. And she would have us to break up into little groups, and she would ask us a question, and we would come up with little things that she would ask us, and then we'd go around the room and share those comments. But just her whole approach was, maintain the leadership and to work with the leaders that you have, and to keep those growing and make them evolve, which in turn is going to make our schools evolve.
Very good, very good. Thank you. I'll just, excuse me, make a couple comments here. I enjoyed the keynote speaker for our first general session, and that was retired Brigadier General Stuart Rodeheaver. And he was one of the top generals in Iraq, and he's now working in a company that is providing three-dimensional educational opportunities. But he has earned many awards through the years for his strategic planning skills, and he outlined these plans, and he feels that they are valuable not only in the military but also in business as well as in education. And I think we can certainly agree with many of these, if not all. He said, first, to have a crystal clear operational plan. And the second one was one I thought was kind of interesting. He said, paint a picture of success and work backwards. So that was kind of an interesting concept there. Clearly define what the desired end is and develop a communication plan that everybody can understand. His approach was simplification. Be as simple as you can so that everybody from top to bottom will be able to understand what the plan is. Define what the center of gravity is, and that's where you place your assets, at the center of gravity, and work from that point. So he had some very interesting things to say. Now, I attended some of these sessions that some of the others attended on school crisis response. That was a very good session, and certainly very proud of the fact that Caldwell County is, right there. We're prepared. We're ready for the potential event that could occur, and we all hope and pray never occurs. Also went to the session, and indeed, once again, very, very proud of our Patterson project, and certainly Amy Bradley and Aaron Smith did a fantastic job there. So it was a great workshop. It was a great few days there in Greensboro. We always learned a tremendous amount. So we are very grateful for the opportunity to have been involved in that State School Boards Association meeting. Okay, next item on the agenda is Dr. Stone. You have anything?
Yeah, I do have real quick little announcements, and I'll be short because I know it's a Monday night and you're tired. Put on your calendars, Monday, this coming Monday, December the 8th, Libby and I would like to do profiles, again, featuring you. We'll do one at 8:30 and one at 9:30. We'll try to have 4 in one session, 4 in the other. So we need you to come with your favorite Christmas or children's book. This seems to be a very popular profiles program. So if you'll see Libby before you leave tonight, either designate the 8:30 or the 9:30. Come prepared with the book. We'll have about 5 or 6 minutes, so it has to be kind of a short book because we have 2 profiles programs that we need to tape. So please, if you'll let Libby know, if you cannot come next Monday, let us know, and we'll try to work around that. We have to work with the college though because of their taping, but if you can, 8:30 or 9:30 this coming Monday. On the December the 17th, add to your calendars if it's not already there, we have our Christmas reception. This is probably the biggest and most exciting thing that we do at 8 o'clock. We invite retired, we invite folks who have been in the school system, worked in the school system, as well as community leaders. So it's always nice to see coming home, kind of like a homecoming for the district. So that's the 17th at 8 o'clock. I also want to ask Tim, Linda, and Dwayne, who is on the December Appeals Committee, if you'll stick around for just 2 minutes so I can talk to you about an appeal we received. And just for those 4 board members who were recently reappointed or elected to the board, I do remind you that you do have to complete 2 hours of ethics training. Dwayne, I know you've completed that. For the other 3, every time you are elected, you have to have that course. So we have webinars, there are other opportunities, but we do need to be able to check that off. That's a requirement of office. So talk with Kathy, and we'll try to send out some information about when that ethics training can be. But everyone, once you're elected, you have to redo it. Or appointed, you have to redo it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. The holiday break begins at noon on December the 19th, and it runs through Sunday the 4th of January, and students and teachers will be back in school on the 5th of January. So we certainly hope that everybody has a great holiday season there. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Our next board meeting will be on January the 12th, 2015. Hard to believe, but that'll be here in the Education Center with our reception at 5:45 for the art gallery, the meeting beginning at 6, and our community board meeting will be on the 26th of January 2015, and that will be at 6 o'clock at South Caldwell High School. So once again, board, thank you for all you do. Thank you for your support. Thank you in so many ways for what you give to Caldwell County and to the children of Caldwell County. Do I hear a motion that we adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Surprise.
second the motion.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And the meeting is adjourned. Drive carefully.
Ms. Nelson?